All right. Joining us from the national tour, it is about to launch in Providence, the national tour of Funny Girl. It's Stephen Mark Lukas. Hey, Stephen, good morning.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. Welcome to 92 Pro FM. This show is going to be a lot of fun. So, it's launching here in Providence. What is the process like going into something like this?
It's a lot of long days and it's a lot of fun as well. But right now we're rehearsing 12 hours a day, 10 hours a day out of 12 hours. So from about noon to about 11 p.m. we're in the theater getting ready, making sure everything is good to go. Working on with costumes and scenery and lighting and getting sort of all the nuts and bolts together. So we have an awesome show to present to you guys on September 9th.
Yeah, it kicks off on September 9th. We have a lot of shows. You weren't kidding about those long days.
Yeah. It's a lot of, it's a lot of work, but it's what we need to have the best show and to, get all our ducks in a row. So yeah, it's exciting.
Before we talk about Funny Girl, have you ever been to Providence before? Is this your first time?
I haven't. I grew up in New England. I grew up in Maine, so not too far away. I have family actually around the corner from here in Rhode Island. I have family in Massachusetts, in Boston. So I'm familiar with the area, but this is my first time to Providence, and I am loving it so far.
Welcome. And it's a beautiful theater to launch the tour in.
Gorgeous theater. Yes, absolutely. And I did the show on Broadway at the August Wilson Theater in New York, and this theater is just absolutely beautiful. It's humongous. I think it's going to be a really great space for us to launch this tour.
You mentioned Funny Girl on Broadway. There's been a lot of talk over the last year or so about Funny Girl and Lea Michele in the lead role. So do you feel like that adds a lot of excitement to this national tour?
It does. I think that it is really, it's a very sort of showbiz story for our show. It's a very Broadway story. That we have had, this huge success on Broadway. We had a number of different women play Fanny. And it really felt like, back in the old days of Broadway, where you'd have a huge star come in and, people would be excited to see a show. And it was really an event to come to the theater and to see a show. And that's just been thrilling. And, we have an amazing star here. Our production stars Katarina McCrimmon, who is just phenomenal. And I think audiences will be really excited to see her.
So for those who aren't too familiar with the story, please explain Funny Girl. The music I feel like is very recognizable. And I think it's one of those things where you think, oh, that's from Funny Girl. But share with our listeners and our viewers what Funny Girl is all about. Yeah.
So Funny Girl is the story of Fanny Brice, who was a humongous star in the 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, even in the 1940s. She started off in vaudeville. She grew up in Brooklyn and the Lower East Side of New York to sort of humble beginnings. And, sort of the crux of the story in our show is that everybody told her from a young age that she wasn't really the right type and she wasn't really going to fit in with the leading ladies of Broadway at the time. And so she sort of forged her own path, and she sort of knew what she had to offer and refused to take no for an answer. And she, ascended to the highest heights of fame and fortune at that time. So it's a very inspiring story. Along the way, she meets the not so above board gambler Nick Arnstein, who charms her, and they have an epic romance together. And it really is a story about Broadway, and it's a story about entertainment and the purpose that theater serves and the purpose that storytelling serves. It's also just a great big old-fashioned musical with a lot of tap dancing. A beautiful score, as you said, by Julie Stein, and a lot of songs people recognize. And I think it's going to be, it's going to be a great show.
What do you love about playing Nick Arnstein?
I like playing Nick because he, Fanny has this very linear path where she starts off sort of, figuring herself out. And then we see her sort of confidence grow as she attains status and fame along the way. And Nick is sort of the opposite. Nick sort of starts off in this place where he kind of has it all figured out. And then as the story goes on, he sort of unravels a little bit, not to give away too much. But that is, as an actor, that's really interesting to play. And I also think that it is interesting to sort of find his vulnerability in the story. There's a lot of moments where, he stumbles and he has to sort of forge a new way forward in his relationship with Fanny. And that's just, it's always been really interesting for me to play that.
And your favorite songs from the show, care to share? Like we said, it's an amazing score.
Yeah, it's a beautiful score. Don't Rain on My Parade is sort of the big barn burner that everybody knows. My favorite song in the show is People, which was not a song I was too familiar with. Our first preview on Broadway, they started playing that song in the overture, and people started applauding, and I was like, what? And as I've done the show more and more, it has a really beautiful sentiment. And the lyrics are beautiful, and I get to sit back in that moment on stage and listen to Fanny sing People to me, and it's just a really beautiful, enchanting, romantic moment.
Well, we're looking forward to all the enchanting romantic moments and so much more when Funny Girl, the national tour, launches at PPAC beginning September 9th. Stephen Mark Lukas, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Great to see you.